What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the endlessly edgy Dr. Disaster. And back when the original Last of Us 2 video game came out, Naughty Dog infamously went out of their way to get videos that were critical of them taken down by misusing the copyright claim system on YouTube. It seems history is trying to repeat itself because the other day, as we talked about, they took the Critical Drinkers video called Why the Last of Us is Falling Apart, they took his video and they copyright blocked it, which is the corporate equivalent of this behavior here.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp! You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lord! You can't triple stamp a double stamp!
Well, I'm quite pleased to announce that the Critical Drinker, one of my all-time favorite channels by the way, the dude is hilarious, he's insightful, but his video has been restored, and in response to this chicken shit behavior, I've got a little message for these stuffy corporate schmucks over at Naughty Dog who think they can silence criticism. The Last of Us viewership is tanking. Now that Joel has been killed in the story, it's awfully funny how right when the second season first came out, there were shitloads of articles coming out talking about how viewership for the first episode was up in comparison to the first episode of the first season. Every outlet talked about it, being fed their talking points from HBO and Naughty Dog. But now, there's not a damn thing but silence. You have to dig pretty deep to find articles like this in order to get any info about the viewership of The Last of Us, because the truth is simply not flattering for this show.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
And yes, the truth is that these people are embarrassed. And naturally, the Praetorian Guard mainstream media isn't going to talk about the decline in ratings. All they're going to talk about is shit like this, where these outlets whine about how the show is getting ripped apart on review platforms like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes. They're trying to play the homophobic and misogynistic card on their sad little violins in order to make us feel guilty for people disliking the show. But can you guess how people like me feel about their pathetic attempt to shame us into liking this?
I don't think he gives a shit.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. Channel members have access to the audiobook version of the first section of a novel I've written, a dark fantasy story called The Darkest Heritage, which will be out on Amazon soon. And I'm also working on a space pirate cartoon, which channel members will get access to first. We can't just complain about the things we dislike in culture, we have to provide alternatives. So, if you want to support that sort of thing, become a channel member for as little as $5 per month. But let's talk about The Last of Us 2. I'm excited to watch the Critical Drinkers take on the show. It's back in my YouTube queue now that it has been reinstated on YouTube. I wanted to put this video out before I watch it because I don't like letting my views be characterized by other YouTubers when I make content. It's actually for this reason that I don't watch a lot of similar content creators to myself any longer at all. I try to make my own opinions, but I make an exception for the Drinker. I watch him all the time because the dude is absolutely hilarious. I've been watching him since way back when his subscriber count was not too far off from where I'm at now. But in any case, let's read this article here where it tells us that viewership, at least for people watching on the HBO TV channel and not streaming, it appears to be down. We don't have any way of accessing the streaming data, sadly, and HBO won't release that unless they have some way to spin it favorably. Season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us started off with a bang in the ratings, 938,000 linear viewers, and if you didn't know, linear viewers means people who watched on TV. But reading on, it says, "We thought the only place to go from there was up. We were wrong. Episode 2 told the story. Over 300,000 viewers were bored or busy, putting the total at 643,000. By the end of that episode, Pedro Pascal, the show's star, was out. His character Joel had a violent exit. Since then, The Last of Us has found its groove at around 770,000 viewers. That's good for cable and HBO, but it's not the breakout we expected." To put it into perspective, that is a roughly 20% drop from the first episode to the third. It is the exact opposite of what they saw with the first season of The Last of Us, where every episode, the viewership just went up. That's because it was based on the first game, where the story was great and word of mouth spread. HBO thought they had their next Game of Thrones, but unfortunately for them, the story in The Last of Us absolutely takes a page right out of Game of Thrones and kills a beloved character out of nowhere for very little reason besides shock value. And if they follow the plot of the game, there is never going to be any actual revenge either. Ellie will have her chance at revenge, but she will show mercy for no damn good reason. I think the viewership went down from the first episode to the second episode because people couldn't stand the petulant brat that Ellie had become. The viewership went up after people heard what happened to Joel. They probably wanted to see the revenge, but after it dawns on people that that simply isn't going to happen, the ratings will plummet even more. But this article here from the website Out whines about how people are review bombing the show for homophobic reasons. They whine about how the Metacritic score is down to a 3.9, but if you look here, after the recent episode, they're now down to a 3.8, and over on Rotten Tomatoes, they have fallen off by about 10 points in the past week. They're all the way down to a 44%. But let's read some of the reviews, and I want you to tell me where the homophobia is, because I'll tell you where Out, an LGBT outlet, I'll tell you where they see it. They see that the show has lines like this.
So, we're having a baby. I mean, we and also, I guess, Jesse here. So we're all having a baby. I'm gonna be a dad.
They see lines like that, and they realize that this show is a part of their tribe, and they defend it no matter what because of that. But let's look at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just going to go right on down the line. This first one here says, Season 1 was good, but Season 2 is horrible. Somehow, it's worse than the game. Terrible characters, terrible writing, and cringe scenes. Bella Ramsey will not be able to hold the show. This season is boring compared to the first season, a waste of your time and the studio's money. So far, I'm not seeing any homophobia. How about you? Just a bunch of people getting bored by a bad show. Then this guy says, worst show I've ever seen. Interesting that the average Joe gave it a true rating, while critics gave it nearly a 100%. It's comical. Seems they are forcing a false narrative. Bad acting, main character is horrible, story in general just isn't very good. I strongly disagree with the critics. Honestly not sure what their job even is if what they write is polar opposite to us. And then this next review goes out of their way to protect the progressive ideology, saying the video game didn't work in 2020 and it wouldn't work now. Pedro Pascal was the only thing holding the series together since Bella Ramsey lacks charisma. The problem isn't any ideology. The problem lies within the game itself. They had the opportunity to modify the product to make it better and fix the game's flaws, but they didn't. They even made it worse. It's a shame. So tell me, where is the homophobia? Where is the bigotry? I'm sure that if I dug far enough, I'd see a few people talking about the gay scenes bothering them, but that is hardly enough to justify calling all of these reviews homophobic. No, the real problem is, of course, that these people won't listen to criticism at all. They view any negativity as an assault on them personally. But too bad. People are not going to be guilted into liking this turd. The culture has changed. We are collectively using the critical drinkers catchphrase to tell these idiots what we think. We are all saying, go away now. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of this poorly conceived Last of Us story into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.